In the dry, sun-baked village of Kiwele, cradled by the hills and watched over by a giant baobab tree, lived a girl named Amina. She was the firstborn of Mr. Juma, a once respected cattle herder, and Madame Theresia, whose pride ran deeper than the village well. Amina was born under a blood moon, which the village elders said marked someone either destined for greatness or tragedy, but her family saw her as a burden. After her father's fortunes dwindled and their cattle died in a great drought, they blamed Amina. Her younger siblings, Riziki, Baraka, and sweet Mwema, were treated like royalty: new clothes, schoolbooks, respect. Amina, left to wear torn kangas, chase after goats that weren't hers, and cook while the others laughed at stories around the fire. She left home at 19, barefoot and broke, with nothing but a knotted bag, a cracked phone, and the taste of her mother's last words: "You bring us nothing but bad luck." Amina arrived in Nairobi, the city of hustle, dust, and dreams, whispered through public vans' windows. She worked as a housegirl in Karen, washing clothes till her fingers cracked. At night, she would sit by the servants' quarters, watching YouTube videos on entrepreneurship using borrowed Wi-Fi. One day, while scrubbing a marble floor, her employer's daughter dropped a phrase that would change Amina's life. "You know, people in the West buy African black soap for thousands." Amina's eyes lit like a sunrise. Her grandmother, back in Kiwele, used to make black soap from shea butter, ash, and herbs. She knew the recipe by heart. That night, she didn't sleep. By dawn, she had drawn up a rough plan: Amina Organics, handmade soap and oil, roots rooted in tradition. She began small, bought ingredients from Makoba, molded soap in ice cube trays, wrapped them in banana leaves, branded with a simple logo: "From soil to soul." At first, no one paid attention. Then a local beauty blogger posted about her soap, calling it magical, ancient, and pure. Sales trickled in. Then they flooded. Amina quit her job, rented a room in Umoja, hired 2 other village girls. 3 years later, Amina Organics was exporting to Germany, Japan, and Canada. She appeared on Citizen TV. Young moguls of Africa. Her face was on billboards. She wore her hair in proud Bantu knots and always signed off interviews with "No one is too poor to start, only too afraid." One quiet afternoon, she received a visitor at her industrial facility in Lokoni. It was her mother. Behind her stood Riziki, in tight clothes and borrowed confidence. Baraka wore cheap sunglasses. Mwema wouldn't meet her eyes. "Daughter," her mother said, voice trembling, "we have come to ask your forgiveness. We were unkind. We miss you." Unkind? Mother Amina looked at the faces. There was silence. "Riziki has been jobless for months," Madame Theresia mumbled. "The land is dry again. We thought maybe you could help us get by." Amina stepped aside. She looked at her assistant, Jabali, and said, "Kindly escort them out." "But we are blood," Baraka protested. Amina smiled. "The baobab does not beg the wind for respect. It stands tall, even when no one waters it." They left in shame. Months later, Amina returned to Kiwele, not as the poor girl who left, but as the founder of a multi-million shilling empire, to break ground on a women's training center, the Amina Institute of Natural Wellness. She walked past her family's home and waved. They watched from a distance, like villagers watching a passing queen. That night, under the ancient baobab, she lit a small fire and whispered, "They threw me out like an ember. I became a flame, and the flame lit the path for others."